The governor in California pay for their mistake. We have over $11 trillion in debt now. Mr. Obama and Congress have spent more in 5 months than all presidents from George Washington to George W. Bush combined. And that's not taking into consideration Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security obligations, and much more to come. What about health care reform? Maybe $2 trillion more? You know D.C., they're just like contractors. They never come in on budget. So let's give it a nice round number like Tim Geithner says we can. Maybe 50% over budget, $3 trillion more, who knows? Anybody here know one of the biggest movie grossers of all time? Titanic, the Kate Winslet and Leo DiCaprio one. We have our own version right here in America. The downfall of the biggest, most unsinkable ship in the history of the world. USS Titanic, if we don't make some changes fast. But the theme song of Titanic was "My Heart Will Go On." Ladies and gentlemen, the heart of America is not Fox News or Rush Limbaugh. It's certainly not MSNBC or Congress or Mr. Obama. The heart of America is me and you and all other grassrooters rallying together. And together, we will make sure that the heart of America will go on. Thank you. Now, one of my favorite films, The Untouchables, with Kevin Costner and Sean Connery. It seems to me, my friends, that these folks in D.C. think that they're in the sequel to this film, that nothing can touch them, nothing can befall them.
Throw the bombs out.
The White House even has its own news network now. Are we going to let D.C. be untouchable? I don't think so. I want to show you guys a piece of paper. And I apologize if it's a little rumpled like the real one is. But the first 3 words say, "We the people." We the people. That's me. That's you. That's everyone else in this United States. We the people. This piece of paper belongs to us, and no one can take it away from us. But folks, see this piece of paper? We might as well send it to Iran or Russia or China, because the folks in D.C. aren't using it anymore. They have wadded it up and thrown it in the trash like a piece of garbage. They ignored us when we said no to the bailouts. They ignored us when we said no to the Omniport bill. And they ignored us when we said no to the Congressional Theft Act of 2009. But Glenn Close said to Michael Douglas in Fatal Attraction, "I will not be ignored." And neither will we the people. Because us revolutionists are simply revolting. The verb, not the adjective. Location, Hollywood, movie set. Jennifer Lopez, star, threatened by a jerk of an ex-husband. But she finally got her cojones, and she said, enough. She trained, and she took him out. He never knew it hit him. Folks, we've got to get our cojones back. We've got to learn to say enough, D.C. And finally, last but not least, network. Peter Finch screaming out the window, "I am mad as hell, and I am not going to take this anymore." So let's send a clear message to D.C. Back off. You guys work for us, remember? We're the ones who sign your paychecks. So start listening to your bosses or join the unemployment line, because you're going to be fired. And take that Constitution out of the trash can.
One of you patriots out there just pointed out to me, if you'd noticed, there were some turkey vultures flying overhead. Carol scared them all away. And you know, the old saying is, it's hard to fly like an eagle when you hang around a bunch of turkeys. I want to tell you a quick story about a patient of mine. His name was Emil. And this took place back in the 90s sometime. Mid-90s, I guess. Emil was an attorney, and he lived in Romania under Ceausescu, the butcher of whatever that, what's the capital of Romania? I forgot the word. Bucharest, the butcher of Bucharest. And he had a price on his head, and he and his family, his wife, who was an accountant, escaped. They got out. And they actually were sponsored to come here by Peter Yavagi. Peter was a councilman at the time in Toledo. And Emil was in my office, and I had known him for quite a while. We talked. And the only job he could get here in America was as a janitor in a high school. But I want to tell you, he was more excited about being a janitor in America than an attorney in Romania. And one day, he leaned forward, he said, I got a question for you, in his broken English. He spoke a lot better English than I did Romanian. And he said, now this is back in the 90s, he said, why is America going communist? And I said, oh, Emil, I said, that's pretty strong language. I said, socialist maybe, but communist? And he leaned forward and got out of his chair and he stood at attention. He said, sir, I have been there. And boy, the hair in my head and my arms just stood out. Emil's not with us today. He passed away a few years ago, but what a neat guy. Sir, I have been there. Our next speaker, and Ed, I apologize for bringing you after Carol. I should have. Just talk real loud, Ed. Maybe that'll help. Ed is from Bowling Green, Ohio. He also is a realtor. And I don't know why what's that poem about the baker and the candlestick man? What's the first one?
Butcher.
Butcher, yeah. We could have had a butcher or a baker or a candlestick maker come up and speak. Instead we got two realtors. That just worked that way because they were on the committee. But Ed's been very active in the Association of Realtors around the state, has done many things with them. He also has been involved politically in various campaigns. He helped establish the Northwest Ohio Roundtable and the Freedom Forum. And currently he's serving as executive director for Foundation for Life and Right to Life in Toledo. Please welcome from Bowling Green, Ed Sitter.